Hi, my name is Mark. I build sculptures out of rocks, stones, sticks, roots, and recycled materials. I try to find a way to do balance and tension in my sculptures. Today, I will show you a few pictures of other people that do sculptures with balance and also show different points of view that make something into art. And then we will go over and I'll show you how I build some of my rock sculptures, and I'll show you some sculptures built out of recycled materials. Remember, before you use an object, be sure it's okay with your parents and whoever owns the object. It may not seem important to you, but it could seem important to the owner. Also, since these sculptures do not have glue, they often fall down. If you use large objects, they can hurt you, so please be careful. Even small objects that fall can break or hit something else and break it. Here are two sculptures by a Swedish postman, Pontius Johnson, where you can see he's balancing rocks really quite amazingly in a stream. Here is another small rock balancing or holding up a much larger rock. And the artist, Pat David, says, "The best part is that my wife was watching right there, watching me. And when I grabbed the smaller rock to balance the bigger rock on top, her comment was, 'No way you'll do it.' I did it in about 30 seconds. One of those serendipitous moments where the universe just came together perfectly for me. Pretty remarkable balance. Here is Klaus Oldenburg. He does sculptures of everyday objects, makes them very big. So by changing your viewpoint, it becomes interesting, insightful, and potentially art. And you'll see I'll do that a bit with roots. I turn them upside down, turn them around different directions, see what happens. Here's one example of my stacks of rocks next to a flower in the background. So I stack them up and they look pretty like they're ready to fall over. And they do sometimes, but this one stayed up for quite some time. There's another one where I did a flat rock on top of a vertical rock and then two smaller ones. And you can see actually in the background a root. Here are two sculptures where I used branches to hold the rocks up, and I turned the branches upside down, which gave me somewhat better support and balance. Here's one where I had a couple of rocks, and then I took a root ball. I had removed some bushes I didn't want, and I really liked how the roots looked. And I think it looks a little like their hair on top of somebody's head. Here is a root turned upside down and got kind of rotten, so it looks kind of interesting, I think. And I used branches that had Ys in them to hold it up and balance it. Here are two sets of branches of plants I had taken down that I turned upside down, and that allowed them to balance. I put rocks on top. Look a bit like, to me, like a big insect of some sort. And this one's one of my most popular ones. It's another set of branches turned upside down, and I put a rock on it. And to many people, it looks like a giant praying mantis. And here is a set of branches I put together and put some roots on top. And you can see in the foreground a stack of rocks as well. And here was a rotting piece of log that I thought looked really interesting. By just standing it up straight, it made it look kind of quite interesting. And it's, I think, got interesting texture and colors to it. So I'm going to stack up some rocks here a couple different ways. First one is more traditional with the biggest rock on the bottom, and then other ones up above, trying to make them all balanced like that. Now this one, I'm going to try a smaller one on the bottom, and then the bigger one, and see if I can get that to balance. And I got lucky there. It took a while before. And then a little bit smaller one at an angle, and ooh, even a smaller one. Nope. Let's see if I can get that to go. Yes, and then a little bigger on top of that. So a little bit more tension. Well, not quite by itself, but there we are. Now here's an even smaller one on the bottom. Then the big, well, actually two small ones, and then the bigger one maybe. Let's see if I can do it. Pretty tricky. I think I've got it. I'm getting there. It takes time sometimes, and it may not work. There it is. It worked finally. And then the smallest one out there, and then the little bit bigger one perhaps on top of that. Let's see. Well, let's just do that one. So I'm going to show some sticks being stacked up. And it just takes some time to find the balance, and you have to try different combinations. So I've got two, I got three there, and one on top. Will it stay? A little hard to say. There we are. So that's one that's stable, but maybe I should try something else. Let's see. I take that apart a little bit, put that one the other direction perhaps. This one on top again, a little different. And then let's try another one. Put some pieces down here, turn it around. Do the big ones first this time, maybe. If I'm lucky, let's see. Never know till you try. It's hard to tell sometimes. It's not going to go, it looks like. That one branch was just too loose, too flexible. So here's two big ones. That's not too bad. Oh, they're staying put. And now I can put another one on top. And even the bigger one on top of that, maybe. Oh, let's switch it around. Let's put the
bigger one first. And there we are, and it's balanced.
I'm going to show you how I stack recycled material. I'm going to play it at a little faster speed so it doesn't take as much time. So I take different size bottles and I stack them up and I see what I can make stand still and what looks higher and shorter. Different combinations, smaller bottles at the bottom perhaps, and then bigger bottles. It's a trial and error thing, as you can tell, and things can be pretty unstable sometimes, but I try to adjust it to get more stable. Different combinations. You can go on forever trying different combinations to see what actually works.